Videos of distress have been emerging out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, showing Kenyan women in apparent anguish in crowded rooms, some of them lying sick on the verge of death.
Now, they are victims of a desperate search for jobs in a region considered one of the harshest, especially for those looking for menial jobs.
Well, recruitment agencies have been cashing in on the despair with promises of lucrative jobs in the oil-rich Saudi Kingdom and other Middle East countries. But as Waihiga Mwaura reports, the journey of great hope ends in a Saudi ordeal for some of the desperate job seekers. The hashtag for this story is the Saudi ordeal. We want to hear from you. Here now is the story.
Kutoka Kenya, from Homa Bay County. Penye nilikuwa nateswa na niko mgonjwa sana.
Tusaidieni wa Kenya, tusaidieni jameni, tusaidieni sisi wa Kenya, angalieni venye tuhangaika huko.
And this is the highest time government must regulate issue of employment agencies.
There is a very, very big problem of unemployment, and especially the youth in this country. The opportunities out there are crazy.
Every week, hundreds of Kenyans board different flights at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for that 6 to 8 hour flight to some Middle Eastern destination. A majority have been unable to find gainful employment in Kenya, and this is a desperate dash to what they believe are greener pastures. For the fortunate majority, after a few years, they will be back to Kenya safely. But for others, what may have seemed like a dream opportunity was actually the start of a nightmare. Steve Oluoch is watching the last recorded video of his sister, Caroline Oluoch, filmed on or before the 12th of April 2021 from her hospital bed in Saudi Arabia.
Nilikuwa nateswa na niko mgonjwa sana. Natamani naomba sana mnisaidie niweze kufika nyumbani. Nitibiwe.
And when she was unable to send video messages, she would also send voice notes.
I have a problem. Please, embassy, help me. I've been reporting the matter to the police station several times, but they have not helped me. Now I'm in hospital.
From 2020, Caroline had issues with her employer, and she used to tell the sister, Beryl, that the family were mistreating her, that she was being tortured, and at some point she was in hospital. That continued for a while, and she used to send the sister some video clips and some messages back and forth, just seeking for help and requesting the family members through Beryl to be helped to come back. But that didn't happen until the family were notified of her death on 14th of April.
There is a lot of contradictions to the reports that we get about the death of Caroline. First of all, on 5th May, there was a report that said she was found dead in her room. The boss was there, the police was there, and also the doctor was there. Later on, there was another report that was given over there in Saudi that claims she was found dead in the bathroom in the hospital on 14th April. So how are these things related?
2 months after her death, through the combined efforts of several stakeholders, the body of Caroline Oluoch was flown back into the country on the 10th of July 2021.
Akaniambia huyo sponsor wake madam anamlazimisha apande ngazi akipanguza windows. Then from there aliteleza akaanguka. Kuanguka alipelekwa OC, akapewa Piriton and Panadol pekee.
Although the family had been informed that Caroline committed suicide, a post-mortem conducted on her body in Kenya revealed that Aluoch had neck compression and some blisters in the body, leaving a lot of unanswered questions on how she really died.
Any death that occurs over there, it's usually purported to be suicide in the first place. So from the reports we had with the pathologist, the body had several injuries.
On the 21st of July 2021, Francis Wahome, the chair of the Association of Skilled Migrant Agencies of Kenya, also known as ASMAC, on Citizen TV's Daybreak show, alleged that the death was a suicide.
And our Kenyan people were on the ground there in Saudi Arabia, and they satisfied that the girl committed a crime. She committed a suicide. That was the nature of the death.
Johnson Oduor, the autopsy or government pathologist, says the body had compressions on the neck and some blisters. This is very different from the version from Saudi Arabia.
Ooh. Okay, but they are, even the doctor is not telling us this lady died in the hand of a Saudi citizen or in the hands of another immigrant.
Caroline's quest to earn a living in the Middle East ended a little under 1 year later, as she was laid to rest in Homa Bay in late July, with the true cause of her death still a mystery.
What I can say, her boss, an Arabian, he is far much aware of what might have transpired to my sister. He knows. So all the fabricated reports that we received from that place, we know, even the way we're seeing it, all those reports are fabricated just to cover up.
But for Caroline's family, they at least were able to give their daughter a befitting send-off. The mother of Maximilia Muhadia turned up at the gates of the Royal Media Services in Nairobi on the 6th of August 2021, desperate to have her voice heard. We thereafter visited her at her sister's Syokimau home a few days later, where she explained that her daughter died in Saudi Arabia nearly 3 months ago, and the body was still overseas.
Mwezi wa 5, tarehe 14, tulikuwa tunaongea na yeye. Tarehe 14 wakaanza tu visirani kwa nyumba. Akaniambia, mama, naona hii nyumba visirani zimejaa sana. Sijui nini inaendelea, sijui shetani ametoka wapi. Ikaendelea tu hivyo, akaniambia nataka upigie watu wa ofisi simu uambie huyu agenti wangu anisaidie, ninaona ya kwamba kwa hii nyumba maisha yangu yako hatarini. Nikarudi tena nikapigia agenti wake nikamwambia saidia mtoto wangu. Akaniambia mtoto atakuwa tu sawa. Hati hao watu wanasema lazima wamalize kwanza idi zao, siku 2 ndio waende wamshughulikie. Na indini ndio tuliongea na mtoto wangu mara ya mwisho, na akaniambia mimi nimeona juu sasa huyu agenti wangu anishughulikii, mimi nitoke kwa hii nyumba nikimbilia mikono ya polisi, labda ndio nitaokoa maisha yangu, lakini naona maisha yangu yako hatarini. Na alikuwa amenyimwa chakula kabisa, amenyimwa kuoga, amenyang'anywa simu. Hata simu yenye tulikuwa tunatumikia sasa ilikuwa ya huyo msichana mwingine. Alikuwa amenyang'anywa kila kitu. Sasa kwa nenda hapo hivi kufika tarehe 20 sasa mawasiliano hatukuongea na yeye tena.
The family believes that Maximilia died on the 20th of May, and they have been trying to bring her body back ever since.
Tangu wakati huo mpaka leo tumezunguka tujapata ripoti yoyote. Nikauliza msichana yangu alikufa aje. Agenti wake ndiye aliniambia ati msichana yako alitoka kwa korofa akaanguka chini, alifunganisha shiti akaanguka, lakini haikukuwa hivyo. Msichana yangu aliwawa na tajiri wake.
We accompany Violet on what has now become her daily routine. She makes her way to various government offices to seek for any information on the whereabouts of her daughter's body and when she would be able to lay her to rest.
Alikuwa anapenda somesha watoto wake juu sisi maisha yetu ilikuwa ya chini, na akatamani asomesha watoto wake vizuri, akatamani sisi wazazi wake tukae vizuri, na akatamani akasema akitoka huko Nyeri afanye awe tu mfanya biashara akilinda watoto wake.
Citizen TV independently reached out to Kenya's National Employment Authority to confirm the status of the repatriation of the body of Maximilia Muhadi, and they responded by stating that The procedure for repatriation of the body of Muhadia from Saudi is almost complete. NEA is working closely with the concerned agencies to ensure that the body is repatriated soon. Unfortunately, narrations of the families of Caroline Aluoch and Maximilia Muhadia are nothing new, and thus may be not even shocking anymore to Kenyan society. Ever since the proliferation of the internet and social media in Kenya, videos like this one and others continue to spread virtually, showing the plight of Kenyans abroad. And yet, despite all that, hundreds still make their way to the Arab Gulf weekly with the allure of a better life and attractive pay. As we speak, there are an estimated 200,000 Kenyans working in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, with 70,000 in Saudi Arabia alone. In May 2021, Kenyans in Saudi Arabia working as domestic laborers, doctors, university lecturers, and other professions sent home 1.62 billion Kenya shillings, making Saudi Arabia the third top remittance source behind the United States and the United Kingdom.
Look at the Kenyan situation economically. Most young people don't have jobs, and it is the obligation of the government to provide for these jobs. So if they had means in Kenya, I think they will stay.
Which is why in 2014, Kenya imposed a ban on the recruitment of workers to the Gulf region, necessitated by increasing cases of mistreatment of migrant workers. The ban on the recruitment was only lifted after several reforms, including the signing of a bilateral agreement with Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, the posting of labor attachés to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. In the deal agreed upon with Saudi Arabia, the expectations as per the bilateral deal were that they must take measures to ensure the welfare and rights of employers and domestic workers, endeavor to establish a mechanism for 24-hour assistance to domestic workers, facilitate expeditious settlement of contractual disputes and other cases filed before the Saudi authorities. But still, videos like these showing mistreatment and agony continue to be shared.
Tusaidieni Wakenya, tusaidieni jameni, tusaidieni sisi Wakenya, angalieni venye tuhangaika huko, hatukutarajia kwamba tutakuja kupata hizi shida.
But the chairman of the Kenya Association of Private Employment Agencies, Ken Kiagiri, believes that the industry has witnessed significant reforms, and he disputes the content of the viral video, describing it as stage-managed.
If you are very keen to see the video, you'd see the girls pretending to cry and others are giggling and laughing. And because we had contacts from the inside, we got information that these girls got there and wanted to get paid for the period of time they'd been there. We spoke to the employer on the other end and told him, okay, fine, they've been here for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Let's, just cut a long story short, let's pay them something because the girls are complaining that they left their kids who are about to join school on this other end and they didn't have money for school fees. They thought we were going to go and start working immediately. But as you may be aware, every country has got its rules and regulations.
The National Employment Authority told Citizen TV that they are investigating the video together with the agent and the labor attaché in Saudi Arabia. But for 31-year-old Lorna Cherop, her 3-year experience in Saudi Arabia between 2014 and 2017 was markedly different from that of other Kenyans. Having heard about the plight of Kenyans there, she accepted the recruitment offer from her agent with a measure of trepidation.
Let's say I was a little bit scared because of the stories that you hear there. You don't know anyone who was gone there, but I prayed God. I prayed for the family I'm going to meet there. I prayed for the people. I just prayed that iyo mchanga yoko mimi nikubali. The family that I met there, nikapata a good family. They had five girls and a son, and then kulikuwa na this grandma. So they told me that you came here for my mom. So they are grandma now. My boss tells me that this is my mom. You came here for her. You are shagala for my mom. Shagala is our house girl.
Lorna was earning 900 reals per month at that time, 25,000 Kenya shillings, tax-free. And while she never faced any major challenges in her domestic service, a comment from her boss one day opened her eyes to the sort of transaction she was a player in.
One day something happened, and then my boss told me, you know how much I paid to get you here? 300,000 Kenyan shillings. Yes, that's what I paid. So to show me like, you're mine, like I bought you.
Cherop then realized how lucrative the agency business was, because after expenses were deducted, the Kenyan and Saudi Arabian agent split the profit of at least 200,000 Kenya shillings per migrant worker.
Madi nakuja 250,000 wameka kwa mfuko per girl, maybe ataitaisha that 50,000. So 250,000 one girl, 250 ukieka 100 girls, that one will be like 250 times 100. 2 point. Almost
like 25 million.
Yes, yes. Those people make money.
6 months later, the mother of one, tired of manual duties and homesick, began planning how to return home.
So this time I texted a girl I met on Facebook, and I told her I want to go back home. Then she was like, instead of you going back home, why don't you come outside here and work? You just run away from that place you have, somebody will come and pick you there, and then you come outside. Many of us are outside here. How much do you need for me to help outside here? 50,000 Kenyan shillings. To pay the guy who's coming to take you, kukuhepesha, kukukemboisha. Yes. Kemboi is a name that we give there for runaways, people who run away from their bosses. So nasema mimi ni kemboi. What does it mean you being a kemboi? You are that person that ran away from your sponsor.
Lorna then entered the world of undocumented migrants in foreign lands without proper documents or access to healthcare, driven solely by the allure of making more money. And while she found other jobs working under the radar, she was fortunate that in 2017, the Saudi government offered amnesty to all undocumented migrants who are ready to turn themselves in and buy their own tickets back home. She took the offer, choosing to return to Kenya to pursue her new calling in evangelism.
We need representatives there. Wenye wako there already, na mwenye ako hapa Kenya mwenye anaweza pewa voice.
Now, when the Kenyan government banned the recruitment of domestic workers to the Gulf in 2014, one of the changes that was agreed upon under the bilateral agreement is a comprehensive training program for Kenyan migrant workers to make it easier for them to acclimatize to the Saudi home setup. Another requirement under the bilateral agreement is that all domestic workers traveling to Saudi Arabia, UAE or Qatar under a reputable agency must sign a standard contract. The 2-year contract stipulates that the domestic service worker is entitled to 1 day of rest per week and a 30-day all expenses paid leave after 2 years. The contract also stipulates how the death of the domestic worker should be handled, including repatriation of the body and payment of compensation. However, enforcement of these contracts is still proving challenging.
And like we tell our members, tell your girls, even when that employer starts telling you stories of, I paid a lot of money, so you must stay with me. It is not the case. That girl has freedom to change house if our rights of the contract have not been met.
And for this particular Kenyan based in Sakaka Al Juf in Saudi Arabia today, while she does not feel that her life is in danger, nevertheless, she admits to feeling trapped in her search for a better future.
Wasichana wengi wanatamani kwenda nyumbani, lakini je, swali ni wengi huwa wanasema hata tukiambia gava iturudishe Kenya, haitupei kazi, familia zetu ziko huko zinaumia.
And her hope is that the authorities, together with the registered agencies, will go the extra mile to ensure the safety of every migrant worker who is sent to Saudi Arabia.
Itengenezwe sheria ya kwamba agencies zikuwe zinatembelea wasichana kujua wako aje, na kutengenezwa mikakati kukuwe kunajulikana wasichana wenye wameenda mwaka fulani imefika mwaka fulani wamerudi Kenya.
It is a rogue registered agent in Kenya here working with a rogue registered agent in Saudi Arabia. That is possible. We have a disciplinary committee. We have government bodies that we are working very closely with to weed out these people because they are among us. And we are asking the public, when your kin is going for work in Saudi Arabia, make sure you know which agent took that person.
As we were talking, and you may have had it in the news, there's a demand for 2,000 nurses in the UK. That BLA has been signed when our president was in the UK the other day. We're in the process, in conjunction with the National Employment Authority, in opening up Poland and Canada, and Australia for that matter. So I will tell you that the opportunities, if we had a one-stop approach, if we got together in spelling out what and how our workers should be treated, I can assure you within 2 years, we're going to be talking about $1 trillion a year coming in from the diaspora.
Waihiga Mwaura, Citizen TV.